Hi everyone. I'm a little bit in a bad mood today for multiple reasons, but yeah, I applied for a different job, one that I've applied for in the past, and I'm really hoping that I get it, but you know, I'll have to wait and see how that works out. Just got some multiple issues going on, ordered some stuff for my dog on an auto ship thing that was supposed to cost me a grand total of $43.15 with free shipping. They decided to ship it in two separate shipments and charged me $21.86 more than they had told me that it was going to cost. Therefore, I don't have enough money to pay the entirety of my internet bill this month. But, you know, with donating plasma, I should be able to pay it Monday, assuming I'm able to donate on Monday. Anyway, I thought in order to kind of try to cheer myself up some, I would talk a little bit about The Masked Singer. Due to a little faux pas I had on my first video that I posted yesterday, I decided that I'm not going to talk about season 3 just yet. I do want to mention that I might have already mentioned it, I'm not sure. I don't care much for the format that they're using on season 3. Thus far, they have only introduced us to 6 of the characters out of 18, and they've already eliminated 2 of those characters. I myself would like to see how they might have stood up against some of the other 12 contestants, you know. But in the past, they've had some of them compete on the first episode and narrowed it to 2 people and had them compete, and then I don't recall on season 1 if they eliminated 2 people on the first episode. I know they did on season 2. But, so, my point is, it's not like they all competed against each other in the past. Anyway, I don't know why this looks very yellow to me, but, so, what I wanted to talk about, though, really is my favorite characters from the past seasons. On season 1, my favorite characters were Rabbit. I'm going to sit this down here and see how well this works. Not at all, but that makes me look fat and stuff. But anyway, trying not to hold it. But so, yeah, it just looks weird. I don't like it, but anyway. So, from season 1, Rabbit was definitely one of my favorite characters. I was kind of hoping that Rabbit would win. I know not everyone watches the show. I'm trying not to say who won the seasons. I mean, I know it's all over the internet and everything, especially on YouTube. But, yeah, I'm trying not to say who won past seasons in case people decide, you know, want to watch the past seasons and don't already know who won. So, from season 1, I was trying to remember last night who all of the characters were. I know that I can't remember all of them. I do know that I liked the monster and I liked Rabbit from season 1. And I had actually meant to try and look and see. I think I took some notes from season 1, but I don't recall for sure if I did. Like concerning who I thought it might be. I was going to check in text with one of my sisters who really, really watches the show. She's pretty much the one that got me started watching it. So I was going to check text with her and see maybe who I had talked about thinking that the characters were and what the characters were. I do recall Rabbit because I knew from the start that Rabbit was a member of NSYNC. I believed he was Lance Bass for the first 2 performances he did. Then I was like, maybe Joey Fatone or Lance Bass after his 3rd performance. And the judges were talking about Joey Fatone and being like, he's not big enough to be Joey Fatone, but I knew that Joey Fatone had a short, I don't even know what you'd call it. He had a show between shows on the Food Network, and when filming one of those, he was out next to his pool wearing a pair of shorts and, I don't know, a tank top. Maybe he was even shirtless. I don't think he was. But he saw how big he looked on that show, so he made the decision to start exercising more, start eating better, and he lost quite a bit of weight. I'm not sure how much, but he did lose some weight. But so I was like, it could be him. Then I don't remember which performance it was for, but on one of the performances in his clues, there were quite a bit of cooking clues. And I want to say some of them kind of had to do with the Food Network, and it totally, completely confused the judges. And I was like, he's Joey Fatone because he was on the Food Network and he had that show. I'm not going to say if I was right about that or not. Many of you, I'm sure, know whether I was or not. But a Monster, I went back and forth a lot on. At one point, I thought he might have been Eminem. I also considered Dr. Dre. He did an excellent job of singing, but his clues kept hinting at the fact that that wasn't the style of singing he was used to doing. That's why I was leaning toward like rappers or hip hop singers and stuff like that. I can't remember who all else I might have considered for him. I know I didn't consider the person that he actually was, but I was surprised along with everyone else. Well, not everyone else. Nick Cannon had figured out who he was. But, yeah, I'm not sure why I can't remember who a lot of the characters were from season 1. Now, it seems like I had thought of another one or two last night, but I can't think of them now. But, like I said, I'm kind of having a bad day. Anyway, could be worse, but it's not the best of days. So, on season 2, everyone pretty much was really good. I really liked Flamingo, who from the get-go I was convinced was Chili from TLC. I liked Butterfly. Didn't love her as much as I did Flamingo, but I liked Butterfly. I was convinced she was Naomi Campbell from episode 1. I considered Madonna maybe Naomi Campbell, and there were a couple of other people that I ended up considering because of clues that I can't recall right offhand what were. But I stayed pretty much convinced that she was Naomi Campbell because there were hints about modeling, Big Ben, London, stuff like that. And she was real tall and skinny. So yeah, I pretty much stayed convinced that she was Naomi Campbell. Some of my other favorite ones from last season, I really liked the Fox, whom a lot of people insisted was Jamie Foxx, and I was pretty sure that he wasn't, but I was totally wrong about who he was. I considered Denzel Washington, Justin Timberlake. I can't even remember who all I considered, but I do recall that I considered both of them. I also considered Denzel Washington for Leopard, whom I was almost convinced was RuPaul. There were clues like Glamazon, and I can't remember, there was another one of his songs. My brain is saying Supergirl, but that's not it. But anyway, I watched a lot of RuPaul's Drag Race around that time, so like, yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure that's RuPaul. The voice is very familiar, but I can't place the voice. And he was tall, and like the judges, I knew right off the bat that Leopard was a guy, not a female. I was like, why do they keep saying she? I'm pretty sure that's probably a dude. Look how tall he is. And then he started singing, and they were like, what? And I was like, yeah. But anyway, I know there were some other people that I considered for Leopard. I considered Denzel Washington for Leopard because in a lot of the hints there were people, like the first hints, there were people wearing the white wigs, and Denzel Washington was in a couple of movies, you know, from the colonial era when they dressed the way that those people were dressed and were wearing those wigs, but I also thought that could have just meant dress up, which took me back to RuPaul. So, and I loved Rottweiler. really, like, I think he was actually my favorite from that season. I liked all of them. I liked Ladybug and Black Widow. Black Widow's outfit was awesome. I'm not going to say who I thought Black Widow was. Originally I thought Sigourney Weaver, I will say that, because there was stuff about Alien and directors and tarot and all of that kind of made me think of Sigourney Weaver. Then I decided the person was entirely too short to be Sigourney Weaver, so I went away from that. But, so Rottweiler, I think, see, I already talked about who I thought Fox might have been, and Leopard, and Flamingo. Oh, there was a Christmas tree on there. I loved that outfit, and she was pretty talented. And I was almost convinced that she was Queen Latifah. I kind of think I liked her better, like, not initially, but as it went on, I kind of liked her better than Butterfly, to be honest. I thought she did better than Butterfly. But, yeah, I can't think of what her name is. I definitely didn't figure out who she was, and of course I'm not wanting to say who she was anyway, but I loved the outfit, and it was purple. For a while, because she kept talking about Christmas, so for a while I thought maybe she was Mariah Carey, but I didn't really think so. I kept going to Queen Latifah because she said she didn't want to be known for the holidays, and Queen Latifah was on the movie The Last Holiday. There was a 30 on there, and on that movie I'm pretty sure she was told she only had 30 days to live, so I was like, yeah, it's definitely Queen Latifah. But she, I thought, did good. And Rottweiler, originally, when he came out on stage, he's wearing brown, and the type of jacket that he was wearing and stuff, and just the fact that he was a tough Rottweiler initially made me think Donnie Wahlberg, because a lot of times he, in the past, had worn the brown type jacket with the fur around the collar, and the stance, like the body type and stance, made me think of Donnie Wahlberg, and he was on Blue Bloods. So I'm thinking, you know, Rottweiler, rough, tough, Blue Bloods. He played for a cop, you know, and he could definitely sing. I knew that right off the bat. He, like I said, I'm pretty sure he was my actual favorite from season 2. And there were hints about he got his start under the Friday Night Lights, and then he showed like a fantasy Super Bowl ring. And so that led me to Mark Wahlberg instead of Donnie Wahlberg, because Mark Wahlberg had been in a movie, I'm pretty sure it's called Invincible, and it's an excellent movie. I rewatched it during that season and had seen it a couple of times before that. Probably not going to remember this right, but I'm pretty sure that in that movie he played for a high school quarterback who went on to be in the NFL. So I was like, well, yeah, I mean, you know, that could totally be. And like, he did sing like Donnie Wahlberg had. So like, I was like, yeah, maybe in like the red cap backwards. I'm thinking I've seen Mark Wahlberg wear a black cap backwards before, so yeah, it's probably Mark Wahlberg. And then I can't remember what it was about one of his hints. I think he said something about fly away, or I don't remember. Anyway, something caused me to think it might have even been the dance style. I was like, no, wait, I know who this is. It's the lead singer from Sugar Ray. The group Sugar Ray, and I couldn't remember his name at the time, so I looked him up, and his name, of course, was Mark McGrath. Well, upon Googling him, I discovered that not only was Mark McGrath an excellent singer, like the Rottweiler said that he wants to prove to people that he's not gone, or, you know, he's still here, something along that line. So I was like, Mark McGrath, you know, he's not sang in quite some time. I discovered that there was an NFL player, I want to say for Minnesota Vikings, I might be wrong about that, but there was an NFL player who was also named Mark McGrath. I'm going, oh, well, that guy played high school football under the Friday Night Lights, I'm sure, and might have played in a Super Bowl. Who knows, you know? And so, but because they have the same name, maybe it's like, I live the fantasy of being in the Super Bowl or something like that, you know? So for a while, I was like, yeah, I think it's probably Mark McGrath. And for a brief momentary, I don't know what it was, a very brief moment during one episode when they like showed a guitar, like an acoustic guitar, I considered Chris Daughtry and pretty much immediately dismissed it because the Rottweiler kept talking about how he's stepping out of his wheelhouse, he's doing things that people wouldn't expect him to do, and he did Maneater, which is kind of a, well, it's like a rock song from the 80s, and he did some slower songs. I don't even know what you would really call them. But to me, like, I used to have 2 Chris Daughtry albums, and the slower songs to me made me think of like I'm Coming Home and, you know, some of his songs like that. And he also had sang some faster songs, so I was like, I mean, he does stuff like that, so I honestly don't think it's him. And then I went back to Donnie Wahlberg for some reason on one episode, and then I was like, it seemed like there was a couple of other people that I considered for him. At one point, he sounded like Justin Timberlake to me. At another point, he sounded like, oh, yeah, I thought maybe Will Smith for just a very brief moment. Like when I was trying to place his voice and stuff. And then on the very last episode that he was performing on, he hit a certain note in a certain song. And I was like, oh, well, now I'm thinking Chris Daughtry again. And then he went on singing, and I was like, but no. I think it's like probably a boy band, or it maybe is Donnie Wahlberg. I was like, or Mark McGrath. So, you know, I was like all over the place with him, and I kept texting my sister and being like, Rottweiler just has me so confused. I just don't know for sure who he is. And I got to where I was kind of sort of the same way with Flamingo too. I was almost convinced that she was Chili from TLC. I seem to have forgotten her name again. I want to say Rhonda Thomas or something like that. But anyway, you know, Chili from TLC, everyone knows who that is. But then there were certain things in the hints that made me think maybe that wasn't who she was. I considered Patti LaBelle several times. I'm trying to remember, there was someone else that I considered for a very short amount of time. I think Miley Cyrus. Miley Cyrus was who my youngest son thought that Flamingo was when he first heard her. And then he saw her outfit and he's like, yeah, that's Miley Cyrus. So yeah, I considered Miley for her for a while. And it kind of seems like there was someone else. But for the most part, I stayed convinced that she was Chili from TLC until her last 2 performances. And I'm like, oh, she's a legendary singer. She has an excellent voice. And I tried to consider Tina Turner, but the body style to me just wasn't right for Tina Turner. So I ended up deciding that she was Patti LaBelle. And on, like, I wasn't intending to talk about season 3, and like we've only seen, I probably already mentioned this yesterday, but we've only seen 6 of the, I know I've mentioned this, we've only seen 6 of the characters so far. Of the 6 we have seen, by far, Turtle is my favorite. I'm not going to say who's already off of there. I have a list somewhere of them. See, there's Robot, Turtle, Kangaroo, Llama, Miss Monster, oh, and White Tiger. Yeah. So I'm trying to remember of them besides Turtle, I almost said Rottweiler, besides Turtle, Who is probably my favorite next to Turtle. I mean, he just, to me, really stands out. Very, very talented. So, White Tiger did better in his second performance than he did in his first, but it's, to me, it's obvious he's an athlete, not a singer. Though I'm sure he does sing in his, you know, at least in his spare time, or for fun or whatever, you know. Robot, Kangaroo, I didn't think either of them did real great. I mean, you know, they were good. Everyone's good. Llama did pretty good. I keep forgetting, who am I forgetting people? The other female, Miss Monster. She's probably my second favorite of the ones that they've introduced so far. So I'm sure a lot of you are watching. If you want to comment about, you know, who your favorites are, you can. I try not to give stuff away, but I know I'm going to. It's inevitable. So yeah, I really want to talk about who I knew Robot was, but I'm satisfied a lot of people have already seen, you know. Those who are fans, those who aren't. You might not be able to ever get it, some of the people who aren't fans, to watch it. I'm always telling my youngest son, you know, you should watch it, it's a really, really good show. Oh, you won't believe who's going to be under the mask. And then, like, I end up telling him all the people that I think they are, and when I find out who they are, I tell him who they are, and I'm like, you should really watch it. Oh, but I've been telling you everything. So, but partly, you know, making these videos to try to help myself be in a better mood a lot of the time. And I know there are a lot of people out there that suffer from with depression. I suffer from what they call situational depression, which most doctors don't like to give medication for. Just kind of, you know, try to be active and not alienate yourself from people. Make sure you're around people so that you're in a better mood. And most of the time that does work pretty good, but like there are times that you can't be around people, and or even don't want to be around people, you know. Don't get me wrong, I love people, but sometimes, you know, you have to step back and take some time to yourself, and then sometimes that gets to be maybe not exactly what you needed. But I've been watching, what's it called? The Kids Taste show on Hulu. I think that's what it's called. Kids Try. Yeah, I was watching that earlier, and that's very entertaining. I'm like, where do they get these kids? How do they not know what Hot Pockets are? You know, but it's very entertaining, and some of the kids are good at guessing where the foods are from and stuff like that. But, you know, stepping away, getting off topic of The Masked Singer, it was funny on the first episode, or I guess it was the second episode of season 3. Nick Cannon always, you know, he's the host. He always walks out wearing a mask and stuff, and he takes it off. And a lot of times the judges are like, "Oh, it's Nick Cannon." And I said to myself when they said that on the second episode, well, I mean, there's one person that I'm sure is never going to be under one of those actual masks, and that's Nick Cannon. And then I went, unless for some reason he decides to not host it, and then he probably will be under one of them, and people won't be expecting it to be him, you know. And Jamie Foxx was a guest judge on the first episode of this season. My thought on that is maybe, which I think that I saw a couple of other YouTubers that I watched before the season even started. I've not been watching any of them since the season started because I don't want them to give anything away to me. But, excuse me. I forgot what I was saying. That happens a lot with me. Yeah, that thought's gone. Anyway, I've totally forgotten what I was talking about. It had to do with the judges, or, yeah, I don't know. Thought's gone. Oh well. Hope everyone has a great day. Whatever time of the day or night it is in your part of the world, I hope you have a great one. And if you want to subscribe to my videos, you're more than welcome to. You don't have to. Don't hear YouTubers say that often, do you? But anyway, I'm not really a YouTuber. I'm just doing this for fun and kind of heighten my spirits some at times when I'm feeling down. So everyone, have a great one.